Future me here, I did forget to mention one critical thing about Final Fight 1 before you get into the meat and potatoes of the video. While I was recording gameplay, I was like, oh, wait a minute, I forgot to mention the save game functionality. If you want to take a break, like you beat a level and you shut it off, it keeps that level you last stopped on. But that's it. You can't like save it on the fly. You have to beat that level. Um, so example, if you beat level 1 and you go to the subway and you want to take a break and turn it off and then go back to it, it'll ask you, do you want to continue from your last save point? And you can say yes or no. So I did forget to mention that. So I apologize, but there you go. That is a pretty cool feature they added. But hopefully you guys enjoyed the rest of the video. Thanks for watching. Here it is. Final Fight 1. Alright, I've been really enjoying going through Game Boy Advance games that I used to play as a kid and talking about them on my channel. Um, and this one's kind of a... I have like a weird story to tell with it. Everything turned out okay with the story I will tell eventually in this video. I was fine. I wasn't seriously hurt or anything like that. But anytime I think of this game, I always remember laying in bed while I was kind of recuperating from what happened, and just playing this a lot and grinding it. And I'll get to what I'm talking about in a second. But today I'm going to talk about a Game Boy Advance game that was really cool when I first heard about it, and I was really excited about it because of what it actually was. It was pretty much like an arcade representation or near arcade perfect port of an arcade game, a beat 'em up game that I really enjoyed playing on MAME and stuff like that. And I even had the Super Nintendo version, which wasn't as good as the arcade for obvious reasons. And it was rushed out. And they basically split it into two different games, being Final Fight and Final Fight Guy. So when this came out, I was like, holy crap, this looks really cool. And that game is Final Fight 1. And I always thought that was weird that they actually called it Final Fight 1. And I actually have this one complete in box. And I believe one of them is my... I don't remember if I just bought the box and manual for this and then put my childhood copy in here, or this second copy I have is my childhood copy, because I believe we did buy two copies of this. So either or, I think both of them might be my childhood copies I had, because my younger brother and I both had Game Boy Advances, and we went out and bought at least one of these, and I think we bought another one down the line. And I have played multiplayer before. It actually does work pretty good. But here's the box. I love the cover of this one. This cover is pretty cool. I'll show you guys the box first, and then I'll continue talking. There's the top. And the side. Weird little side there. And then there's this side. There you go. So, I remember, I kind of remember picking this game up, but not like as vividly as like the past. But I do remember picking it up and being like, holy crap, this is like close to the arcade. Because if you guys haven't played the Super Nintendo version, either Final Fight 1, or I should say Final Fight, or Final Fight Guy, you'll know they still cut corners besides cutting Cody out of Guy and Guy out of the original Final Fight. They also cut out an entire stage, the industrial area. And when that was missing in the Super Nintendo version, I was like, okay, I guess I had to like cut it out. I don't know why they did. I guess they 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 had to like rush it out or something. I don't know. And of course, they censored Poison and stuff like that. Poison is not in the U.S. version of this, so that still is a change they made, of course. But I believe Poison is in the Japanese version of the Game Boy Advance version, probably, because she is in the Japanese version of Final Fight. Because I actually do have both English and Japanese versions of the Super Nintendo um, port. But I remember when I started and went through the opening, and it was like, okay, wow, this is really cool. They did a really cool job recreating stuff. What I didn't know was they actually added like scenes, like dialogue text boxes before each boss fight. So depending on who you play as, like Damned or Saddam or whoever or Rolento will say stuff to Guy, Cody, or Hager, depending on who you're playing as. And I thought that was really cool. So I remember like just being really blown away by how good this port was of Final Fight. And I'm like, how could this port be better than the console port from like the early '90s? That never made sense to me. I was like, what the f, man? I was just like, no, this isn't. This shouldn't be as good as it is. But the Game Boy Advance did a lot of games pretty well. And Final Fight 1 was one of those games where it was just a really good, solid port. It was the port we deserved or we were owed to get from back in the 90s when Nintendo made Capcom basically rush this port out to the Super Nintendo and split it up in two different versions for some stupid ass reason. This is the version we should have gotten on the Super Nintendo, I think. But they also added some extra flair to this as well. It keeps track of how many enemies you kill. And you go into the option menu and you check how many enemies, it'll tell you like how many enemies you have to kill before you unlock something. Well, once you kill a certain amount of enemies, you get, you can either like, I can't remember all of the things that you get for unlocking stuff, but I know one is like you can change the color palette of Guy, Cody, and Hager. And the two things that were really cool to me where you could actually unlock two hidden characters, Alpha Guy and Alpha Cody, from the Street Fighter Alpha games. Alpha Guy being from like, I think he was an Alpha 1, and then Alpha Cody was, of course, an Alpha 3. You can unlock those, and that was always weird to me that you could be Alpha Cody, because I believe Alpha Cody is younger than this the like original Cody that you can play as. I think I could be wrong, but I know like the dialogue changes between like the different Codys and the different guys and stuff like that. So it was very very interesting to like know that those characters were unlockable, and I was like, huh, that's really weird but cool. And I believe there was a level select, I think, and maybe a sound test that you can unlock. And I think that was it. I think it was like level select, palette swap, the two characters, and then like the background music, the sound test, I think. And that was it. And I don't know, it's just really cool that Capcom actually like put that extra effort into this version of the game to give us like kind of like a, I don't want to say like definitive version of Final Fight, but like a version that was satisfactory in what they could do with it at the time. And then, of course, we got the our near arcade perfect port called Final Fight Double Impact on the PS3 that had Final Fight and Magic Sword. Um, but I won't get into that today in this video. But that was a near arcade perfect port, and it had online, so that was really cool. Um, which I highly doubt that's still up and running today, but who knows? Um, but like I said, I'm going to tell you guys a little funny story that I was thinking when I pulled this game out to play it, and it like I said, everything turned out fine. I recovered fine from this, so don't be like freaking out, be like, oh my god, are you okay? Is that what caused any of this? No, I was born this way. So I just want to preface that before I tell this story, because it was a stupid thing I did as a kid, and I have since learned from my mistakes when crossing the street, basically. Um, so I it was like it was like a Friday or maybe even like Saturday or something like that, and I was just outside riding around my chair, just riding around the neighborhood, and I saw my friend from across the street outside, and she was almost up in her front yard, and I was like, I want to go mess with her. So, um, me being me, I was like, I'll just cross the street right here, and there were a ton of cars parked to where I couldn't see like if any cars were like really coming or not. On the left side, on the right side, I was clear. I assumed on the left side I was clear, but our wheelchair van at the time, not the red one that we got repaired, it was the one before that. It was pretty large, so I kind of had a blind spot, and I was like, it's fine, and it wasn't. And luckily, I didn't go all the way out, like to the middle of the street. I just like pulled out a little bit of the ways, and all of a sudden this car comes like flying up, probably going like 30, 35 miles an hour or something like that. Maybe a little less than that. I don't know. It seemed pretty fast, and just I'm telling you, like full on just smashed into my left leg and the left side of the chair I had at the time. Like totally tore off the foot plates that I had on there. They like flew up in the air, and I was like, I watched them fly up. I was like, oh, that was cool. And I was like, why does my leg hurt? And like, I was like, oh, I think I just got hit by a car. So yeah, my dad was freaking out. He's like, what the hell were you doing? Why did you? And I was like, I don't know. I was like freaking out, and like my mom like came outside, grabbed me, took me in the house, laid me on the couch. Um, they called 911 to take me to the hospital. I did not want to go to the hospital. I was like, Mom, do not call. I'm fine. It just hurts. Nothing's broken. Like I could tell nothing was broken because I could still move my leg. It just hurt. Like nothing was like flopping around or nothing weird. Nothing weird. Like because I knew nothing was broken. It hurt really bad, and like I had a bruise from like all the way down my leg to like up to my almost the side of my knee. And I remember it was because that weekend after I got back from the hospital getting X-ray and all that stuff, they just said that like don't put any weight on my leg for a little bit, which I was like, how would I put weight on it? Because I don't use my legs anyway. So like, I remember it was like that Sunday. My parents would go to church, and since they didn't want me moving, my dad didn't want to carry me around places. That weekend, So he's like, "Well, what you saying from church?" And I go to church. I'm like, "Sweet, I don't have to go to church." So I was really excited. I was like, "Hey, can I have my SP, my Game Boy?" And I remember just laying in bed playing Final Fight 1 like all day, and that's what I was doing, just grinding to get everything unlocked and stuff. I don't know why I specifically think of that day, but I vividly remember just laying in my bedroom playing Final Fight Guy on my platinum or silver Game Boy Advance SP that I had. So yeah, it was a super weird time. Like I every time I go to cross the street now, I will not cross the street where I once did because I just have weird flashbacks of that happening. Um, but like I said, everything turned out fine. Um, the 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 driver of the car, their mom was like pissed at my parents. They tried to take them to court to like sue them for the damage to the car, and like the case was thrown out because like it was their fault. It wasn't my parents' fault or my fault. So like, it was just a whole shit show thing. And then I remember when my mom and dad said the judge was like, "Are you serious? You really want them to pay for damages that you caused, or something like that?" They basically like threw out the case or something. It was so stupid and dumb. Um, but yeah, I don't know why I always think about that story, but or that part of my life that happened. But yeah, that every time I think about Final Fight 1, I always think about that. So, fun little story for you guys to know about me, I guess. Like I said, everything's fine. I don't have any like lingering pain or anything like that. I just from time to time I think about it like, God, that was such a stupid thing to do. Um, because honestly, like I should have been more careful. Like you should always be careful when you cross the street, kids. Like use common sense. Don't be an idiot like me. Um, but yeah, everything turned out okay. My wife doesn't like when I talk about it because it freaks her out. I remember my parents would get mad, like when I would make jokes about it. Like after that, they would get mad about it. But now they joke about it because it's not a big deal now. But at the time, they would get mad, like, "Kevin, you shouldn't joke about that." It's like, why? I was stupid. It was my fault. Like friends of mine would joke about it. I would joke about it. Like it would just bother them because they're my parents. Like you know how it is. But I don't know, guys. I just might tell you guys that little fun story before I end the video. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about Final Fight 1. Did you guys like the port? Did you guys own it? Did you play it? Did you ever do multiplayer with it? Because it actually worked pretty good. Um, but yeah, just let me know if you like this video. Leave a like, comment down below, subscribe, all that good stuff. Click the bell button for all notifications. You guys know the drill. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. This has been Rolling with Kevin, and I'm rolling out. Peace. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, please don't forget to leave a like, comment down below, subscribe, click the bell button so you get notified when I upload videos, go live, or post on my community page. Shout out to go to my Patreon supporters: Sunny Silva, Catfish Cat, Lee Fernay, Team Dale, Elliot Scott, Preliab, Harry Fernandez, William Swift, AJ Gottawa, Oliver Friedrich, Len Ernhorn, Marcus Mahaley, Brianna, and the Pay Now Please, Nuclear Reactive Man, Rebecca H., Just Good Enough, Gorgon Kaluskovic, Justin M. Daggins, Daniel Childs, Patrick Oliver, and Harold Huckabee. Thank you guys so much for supporting my channel. If you want to support my channel, it's only $1 a month. That's all I ask. It really does help out the channel a lot. Thank you guys so much for supporting and watching. If you did enjoy this video, I'll see you guys in the next video.